Hey guys, what's up? So this is the tutorial that I have for you guys today. It is my back to school makeup, and I also added in how to do faux freckles, or how I do faux freckles. So yeah, it's really light, it's really simple. If you want to start wearing makeup to school, you need something that's lighter and something that's going to hold up in the heat when you first go back. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into the video. So I already moisturized my face. Now I'm gonna prime, and this is, I dropped it, and this is my favorite primer right now. It is the Kiko Matte Fluid, what is it, mattifying primer. It doesn't say it's a primer, but it works just like one. And this is really good because I am super oily, and when you go back to school, it's still pretty hot out, and my school doesn't have air conditioning because we're poor. So yeah, gotta make sure I'm not looking like a pot of grease because, you know, there's no air conditioning there. So I'm going to fill in my brows off camera while this all sets into my skin, and I'll be right back. So excuse the noise if you hear any noise, because my neighbors are in the backyard right now, and they're pretty loud because my window is right there. But I did the brows. They're really, really simple. I just used some dip brow and I filled them in really messily. I made sure that they weren't too dramatic because, first of all, it takes too much time in the morning to do all that. And yeah, I didn't clean them up or anything. So I've decided to completely skip foundation for this routine. But if you prefer to wear foundation, go ahead. The only reason I used to wear foundation to school is because my acne was pretty bad, and now I just have scars. So that is what I'm going to be covering up today, and I'm going to be using my LA Girl concealer in the color Fawn, and then my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer under my eyes in the color Caramel. So I'm going to take some of this concealer and put it everywhere that I have dark marks, basically, which is mainly my chin and some of my forehead. But that's about all the coverage I'm getting, and then I'm covering up my under eye circles. So now I'm gonna go in and highlight my under eye, and I'm also gonna highlight like where my mustache is and around my nose and stuff, because for whatever reason recently those areas have been really dark. Don't know why. And on my forehead, and like I said, just right here and around my nose. So this is all I'm going to be doing. You can do more, you can do less. Now I'm going to go in with a beauty blender and just blend out everything. So now that that's done, we're gonna go in and set this. If you don't need to set your face, if you're like dry, you don't have to set your face at all, but I'm really oily, so if I don't set my face, my makeup does not last really long. So I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless and the color 360 and 330 because I'm the in-between of these two colors right now, but they didn't have that color when I went, so I'm just gonna mix these two together because it's just easier. So I'm really going to focus it where I put concealer mainly, and then just kind of buff the rest into my skin. To set my under eye, I'm going to take the lighter of the two, which is 330, I believe, and I'm just going to put that under my eye and also on my nose. So now I'm going to contour, and I have a few choices here, and these are all drugstore, by the way. Most of this is drugstore. If not drugstore, then it's super, super, super cheap. So the first one I have here is my Wet n Wild contouring palette. It's just the Duo, and it has a contour shade and a light shade, which I actually broke recently, but the contour shade is pretty good. And then I have the same powder that I was using, just in the darker color, which is what I think I'm going to be using. And then I also have an e.l.f. quad, and this one has a, hold on, This one has 2 contour shades, a kind of like setting shade, and then a highlighter. So I'm gonna mix this one with the Fit Me powder, and then that's what I'm gonna be using today. Then to really define that contour, you do not need to do this, you can skip this step. I'm going to take that Wet n Wild palette that I was just talking about and take that lighter shade and just run this really lightly right under my contour. Just to make sure it's like really snatched and, you know. Now we're gonna do a blush. The only blush that I have here is a MAC blush for whatever reason, but just use a drugstore blush if you don't have any high-end blushes. It's really not that serious. But this is a MAC blush in the color Dolly Mix, and I'm gonna lightly take that because I don't like blush, but I'm just gonna lightly dust that on my cheeks. Next we're gonna highlight, and the first thing that I'm taking is my ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the color Spoon, and this stuff is really like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not powdery, it's kind of more on the liquid side. So I'm gonna apply that with my finger really lightly because this stuff alone is super, it's really bright and it almost looks really ashy on me if I layer it too much. So I'm just gonna put it out to prime kind of where I'm highlighting. I'm sorry if you hear all that noise in the background, but I'm also just putting it on my nose. And I'm going to take one of my favorite highlights because it's amazing for when I'm tan, and this one is a MAC, again another MAC highlight, but in the color Global Glow. If you don't have any high-end makeup, I don't know why I have like high-end makeup when I was going to do mainly drugstore, but a good alternative for a highlight is the Kiko Water Shadow in 208, and that is amazing. Currently it's sitting over there, but I can't get it because it's doing something for me. It's like holding up one of my doors, but it's just a eyeshadow, but it doubles as a highlight, and it's so bomb. So, and it's only like $7 or something like that. So I highly recommend that over getting something that's really expensive. But this is just what I'm using right now. And I'm just gonna highlight my face. So for lashes, this has been my favorite combo. This is the CoverGirl Clump Crusher, the green one, and then this is the Roller Lash by Benefit, which is by itself amazing, but this one's starting to dry out and I need a new one, so I have to pair it with another mascara. But if you were just to invest in this one, it's bomb as hell. But for the drugstore side, obviously I'm going to be using this one. You can just use this one by itself. This one's actually really good by itself, but I just prefer to double up. So this one retails for about $24, and then this one retails for about $8 or $9, something like that. So that is the completed look without the freckles. If you don't want to add the freckles, you do not have to, but this is basically what I would go to school with. Now I'm going to show you guys how I do my faux freckles. It's super easy. The first 2 things you're going to need is a foundation that is one shade darker than your skin and one that is a few shades darker than your skin. You can substitute these with concealers, you can substitute these with cream sticks, whatever. Or you could even use like brow pencils. You can use eyeshadow if you want to, but this is what I found works best for me. So this is just the Kiko Liquid Skin in the shade WR180, and then this is the Kiko Unlimited Foundation in the color N160. This one is so dark for my skin, and this one is about 1 or 2 shades darker maybe. So you're gonna need something to mix them on, like an index card or something like that. And then what I'm using is an old eyeliner tube, and this one just has a felt tip like that, so it's pointy and really precise. You can use a brush if you have a precise brush, like an angled brush, but I really like the way that this works. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take the darker one and just pumping it onto a little thing that I have here. It's just like, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna dip into it. So the main places I like to focus my fake freckles are on my forehead and on my on the middle of my face basically. So I'm going to start by just taking the dark foundation. This is going to be the base of our freckles, so I'm just going to dot them randomly. You don't want these to be too perfect either. You don't want them to be in a certain pattern, because that's not how fake freckles look, or how real freckles look. So I'm just dotting this all over, not being precise at all. You can do whatever you want with this. I'm also just going to scatter just a few on my chin to make sure that everything's even. The first layer is done. You're going to take a beauty blender or a blending brush, whatever, and you're just going to pat down. Now, some of them may move. I don't know if you guys can see that. They kind of like spread out here because it wasn't completely dry. That's fine. Just make sure that you're like making it blend and not look too weird. Then I'm going to take the lighter foundation, which is going to be the second layer of freckles. These are the ones that are going to look more natural and help this be more believable. So you're going to do the exact same thing and just put them on or next to where you had the other ones, and it's just going to make them again look more real. This is the one you kind of want to focus on your nose, the lighter ones, because they wouldn't be so dark on your nose naturally, if you get what I'm saying. So then just repeat the exact same process and blend them out. So those are the freckles. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see a little bit. So these are the freckles. Hopefully you guys can see them on camera. Don't know how well they're picking up, but yeah, I put some on my forehead, over here, down here, and on my chin. So that's basically the complete look. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's super simple for back to school. Remember to like and subscribe because it really helps me out. Also, all my social media will be listed down below, as well as the link to my last video in case you guys want to go watch that. And that's basically all I have for today. I will see you guys in my next video.